As I grew up, I had a nice relationship with sport. My mum was like, do what you want to do. If you want to go to the sport, she was always like, I will take you. But if you don't want to get up, I don't want to get up either. Like, I don't want to be up at 6 a.m. So I think that allowed me to really choose my relationship with triathlon. And I think that worked well for me as I was coming up in my teenage years, when you'll get obsessive about things, and also this is a time where you are just experiencing really different things and you're very stressed and your hormones are everywhere, and it's a tumultuous time. And I think I really used sport as kind of like my easing board in that time. It was very much like, I go there, I do my session, I feel better, you get your endorphins, you feel fab. But I think, you know, when you're getting to that higher level of performance, because I ramped up to it, so I wasn't like overnight like, oh, I did 1 session a week, then I did 14. No, there was like a couple of years between that. And I think when I got to that top level, I was still using it as that, but you've also, now it's become like quite a main bit in your life. So you're kind of being like, oh, I've got to go do this, I've got to go do this, I've got to go do this. And then suddenly you can lose a little bit of like why you're doing it, which I think is what I reached when I came to uni, and suddenly I couldn't do performance sport, and I was like, oh my goodness, where is my identity? Who even am I without this sport? And I think first and second year for me weren't my best times at university. They were great times and I don't regret them, but there was a lot going on. I was dealing with a lot. I did a lot of work. And I think in second year, especially when I wasn't doing the sport and I was having quite a rough time, it was kind of like, you know, what do I use as that other easing board? Is sport that? And I think at the end of second year, I really just had a moment where I was like, what can I do to prioritize my well-being? You know, what's going to actually make me happy? I made like some quite big changes to like just make myself happier in general. And one of it was, you know, do I like the sport? The answer, I was like, no, I definitely like this sport. And I was like, okay, what do I like about it? What's going to make me happy? And also, what's going to feed into like my well-being as a whole? So what about this sport makes me happy? So what will make me want to go? And therefore going will make me feel better because my friends are there, my community's there, I'm doing sport, I'm getting endorphins, I will feel better. And it was just that real moment where I kind of was like, okay, back to the building blocks. Like, let's pretend we never ran really fast run times. Let's just pretend we were who we were. It's kind of, from there on out, I was like, okay, if I don't have fun, I'm not doing it. And that was a real game changer, because I think I lost that a bit somewhere. I was more just going, because like, no, you've always gone to run intervals, go to run intervals. And it's like, well, no, I dread run intervals from the moment I wake up on a Thursday morning until I go, and then I feel fine after. But it's like, you know, if it's not bringing me joy, why am I doing it? And I think that real like reprioritization into doing, you know, I love swimming, so I'm going to go swimming, meant that I was actively looking forward to things, I was having a nice time, and that in turn was feeding into a more positive mindset. I kind of got to about January, February, and I've been in the club so that was 4 years I've almost been in the club. This is my 5th year. And my friends were kind of like, oh, are you going to go for it? And I was like, don't know. Talked to a lot of people, and they were like, yeah, no, it's really fun. Both the last year's president and the year before, I'm really good friends with. So I spoke to them a little bit, and I just thought it's a really fun way to kind of run something. Like, I'm so omnipresent within the club. I attend a lot of things that otherwise I wouldn't. Like, I've been at performance squad trials. I'm not in performance squad, but I know who they are. You just talk to a lot of people on a regular basis. I think it's a good way to be really, really, really involved in something. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm running that something. So it's just, I think it's quite a fun role, and I really, really like the club. I've invested a lot of time into it, and I like all like committee and people. I know them, most of them are my good friends. So it felt like a bit of a natural transition by the time I got to it. It was just something where I was like, yeah, no, that actually sounds like a really good chance to just continue to be part of the club. I cannot back Sporting University enough. I've been at Sporting University since the second I walked through the door. I was always going to join Tri Club. And it's just a community, like it is just a really, really big community. And I think it's nice sometimes to get out with your friendship group. My flatmates do not actually do triathlon, though they do get dragged along to sessions by me. But I just think it's another place to be. Sporting clubs are communities. I was talking to my friend about this the other day. Her sister's a first year, and she was like, she's not made that many friends, she's a bit shy, she's a bit anxious. And I was like, tell her to join a sport or a society. Literally any sport or society. It really doesn't matter what. I love triathlon, I back triathlon, but like, if you can just get your foot in a club, stick with it for a month, you meet people, you get to know people, there's weekly things that you have to go to, you're doing something while you do it so it's less pressure, you keep fit and healthy, it's just a win all round. I would love to see more women in performance sport. This is the one thing we have in my club, is we have majority female club, we have a majority female committee, and then our performance squad, year after year, we just cannot seem to like get as many women on the squad. We've always had women on the squad, but never as many. And we really pushed this year to have a significantly larger number than usual. And I would just love to see more at the high level, because I remember when I was younger, there was these amazing women doing these amazing races, but there were more guys doing them. And I would love to see, maybe we'll see in the next couple of years, just as you go up and through and more people are joining the sport, just more at like a really high performance level and more support at that level as well. Just because like being a woman, there are, like even if you think about the way your periods work, like that affects your training. And I think like more knowledge and acceptance around that, and it's like, you know, when I'm on my period, I might not want to be doing as such strong training, would be better. But I think that's also growing with the science and growing with sport in general, having more awareness of like a holistic overview of doing performance sport. But I think, yeah, that's a big thing I'd like to see, because I think in grassroots triathlon there's a lot of women and there's a lot out there, but when you start to get to these top levels, like in many areas, there's just less. I really enjoyed that, yeah. I mean, we all love to see it. Also, I'm getting to the point, some of the like top athletes are now people that I grew up vaguely around, so you know of them and you're like, wow, that's so cool. I mean, we just love to see it. I just think having so many women in the sport, and that's actually one of the things, is triathlon as it goes is fairly gender equal compared to a lot of sports. Is just really amazing, and it means when you're watching the TV and you're watching the Olympics and the Commonwealth Games, you're like, oh my goodness, I could be them, I want to be them. It just allows for these role models, and I mean the GP women are fantastic. I mean, they are some of the best, they are the best worldwide at their sport, and I just think that's fantastic to see.